Hello, everyone. Hope you can hear me and see me properly. So, good morning to everyone. Yeah, good morning. Welcome back. I think I need to shave. Good morning to all of you coming, all of those who are here, all of those who are here later, all of those who are here for the first time, especially warm welcome to all of you. And yeah, another day to practice our body like a temple. Very grounding. I find it very, very grounding. So we'll be here for roughly an hour. Christine is waiting in backstage to come and give us a very calm Dharma talk and very grounding practice. And then there will be some time for questions. I'm sorry I missed someone yesterday who wanted to come on screen, but sometimes the chat is so fast and it's kind of lose track of it. So please keep insisting if you want to come on screen to ask your questions. There's a little virtual hand you click on there, but if you do that, it's simpler for me to see that you want to come on screen rather than just writing it. And if you just want to type your question, please type question in capital letters and then type your question, and Christine will address that. Last but not least, my little talk about Dana. I've put the link in the chat. I'll put it again at the end. Dana is the practice of generosity, and it's the way we keep on doing these things, all that we're doing in Sangha Life, because we don't have any other kind of support apart from yours. And yeah, it's come and go kind of stream. We all do our best to support you the best we can. You do your best to support you the best you can, to support us the best you can. And that's through your presence, your practice, and your dana, if you can do that. And if you can't do any kind of donation, well, please keep on doing the practice and stay with us. That's what we're here for. So I've pretty much covered it. It's time for me to fade away and leave Christine with the practice for today. Enjoy your practice. Thank you.
So, hello everyone. So, as George just said, we're going to continue our practice with the theme Body as a Temple. It's raining here this morning. Good rain. Nature needs rain. Anyway, I'm happy to be here. After a short night, somehow I didn't sleep very well. And so today, we're going to explore the heart. In the Middle Ages, cathedrals, churches, Christian churches and cathedrals, and probably in temples and many other places, were refuges for all kinds of different people, and a place of celebration. And so this is sort of an analogy for what we're going to do today. We're going to explore heart as a place where everything comes together. All the different parts of ourselves. The parts that we like and the parts that we don't like. The more glorious and also less glorious. Everything can come together in our heart. This heart we have is also an archetype. It would be the archetype of the good mother, which also exists in all traditions. Like the Virgin Mary is the archetype of the good mother in Christianity, holding baby Jesus. In Buddhism, there is what is called the Brahma Viharas, which would translate in English like divine abodes. So there are divine-like qualities, and we can rest in them, and we can dwell in them. So if we go a little bit into the Brahma Viharas, these divine-like qualities, there are 4 of them. First one is called metta, which could translate in English with friendliness. Second one is karuna, which we could call in English compassion. Third one is mudita, spiritual joy. And fourth one is upekkha, which we could call in English spiritual balance, in a way. So these 4 qualities are all about love, actually. There are just different nuances to them. So what we're going to try to do today, what we will do today, is that we're going to befriend everything that happens, everything that arises in our meditation will be befriended. We will bring friendliness to it, or love. The difference between metta, friendliness, and compassion is that compassion, we could say, is friendliness that meets suffering. So it's really meeting our suffering. So depending on what arises in us, we can have the friendly approach or the compassionate approach, which are, as I said, just different nuances of the same thing. Friendliness is, I would say, quality of heart that is kind, gentle, forgiving. Yeah. Something like that. I guess we can all relate to that with our friends. And this time, during this practice, we can also do it with friends and anything really, but for this practice, we're going to befriend ourselves, the different creatures in ourselves. So, how did I encounter the Brahma Viharas the first time? I was going through a difficult period in my life. This was about 15 years ago. And yeah, I was going through a personal life crisis. And I was wondering, how come I don't feel any friendliness for myself? This is difficult. But no, I didn't feel any friendliness at all, nor compassion for that matter. And so I wondered, but after almost 20 years of meditation, what I had learned was that compassion was supposed to arise naturally from awareness, from presence. But with me, it didn't work. It didn't happen. So I started looking for answers in other Buddhist traditions, also in Zen, but what I found didn't really speak to me. So I started looking in other Buddhist traditions and also in Buddhist psychology. Which finally brought me to study more Buddhist psychology and become a Buddhist psychotherapist. But anyway, what I found was that in Buddhist psychology, awareness or presence and compassion are like the two wings of a bird, two complementary forces that need to be united so that the bird can fly its awakening fly. And that really spoke to me. Yeah, so two wings. First wing, awareness, seeing things as they are. And I would say more like felt sensing things as they are. Second wing, heart feel things as they are. Heart feeling or heartfelt sensing. I don't know quite how to say that. So, how do we do this? Befriending everything. Everything. Excluding nothing. Nothing. What we dislike, also. Befriending it. I mean, everything. If it hurts, befriending that. If we are feeling, I don't know, hate, befriending that. That hurts. Befriending the hurt, the suffering that's there. Same with, jealousy, shame, etc., etc. Holding everything in these heart qualities, holding everything with warmth, gentle, forgiving, kind, holding, meeting. And if it really hurts, trembling with, perhaps crying with, perhaps our heart feels like it's going to break sometimes. That's okay too. We can hold that too. And we don't have to make these qualities. That's why they're called divine abodes. They are already here. They are given to us at our birth. They are a birthright. And where do they reside? In our being, at the core of our being. So again, my suggestion is to start with the very tangible. Perhaps the easiest for you will be to feel your breath like a gentle caress. Try that. Feeling breath that's coming in, going out as a gentle caress. Caressing within. Or another way would be to stroke very gently, very kindly. With your thumb, you could stroke your hand to bring on board the kindness, the soothing qualities. Or another way still is just to put your hand on your heart, to feel the warmth, to feel your heart. Okay, practical example. If your legs are hurting, first wing, exploring that. Being curious about that. Okay, how is it? What am I sensing? Being curious. Where does it hurt? Really penetrating what is happening. And then, second wing, bring kindness on board. Feeling the hurt with our heart, extending our heart to the hurt. That's it. That's our practice today. So, let's practice. So let's start by arriving. Arriving right here. Where we already are. in this body as it is. Touching the ground. And growing towards the sky. Our spine unfolding, stretching without strain. Our head touching the sky. Aware of our living body. Like a pillar of life between earth and sky, sky and earth. Holding everything together. Both with some lightness and stability. And let's connect with our breath. It comes from infinity, travels through our body, nourishes us, and goes back to infinity. Right now, perhaps we can feel the nourishment of our breath. Right into our cells. Our whole body breathing. Breath breathing itself. Short breath or a deep breath. all okay. And perhaps we can connect with silence right now. The feel of silence. Settling in. Body very still. Body very alive. Body very peaceful. The sound of silence. Driving us home. And let's feel into our heart right now. Perhaps we can have the sense, the feeling of our heart beating. If we wish, we can put our hand on our heart or stroke gently our arm with our fingers or a thumb. To really get the feel of warmth, kindness, all forgiving. So sweet, so soothing. And whatever arises now, thoughts, feelings, sensations, whatever arises, let's see if it's possible to meet it, meet the experience. both exploring what is there and exploring with our heart, holding, meeting, warming, embracing. Everything is welcome. Everything. Nothing is excluded. Nothing. And if it is difficult right now for you to feel love, friendship, compassion, that somehow it doesn't come on board, it's okay to feel that too, with love. It's painful. Open up, opening up our heart to that too. everything can be held. Nothing to change. Everything to be held. There's a beautiful verse in the Karaniyametta Sutta, one of the famous suttas of the Buddha, where he speaks of love. On the attitude of a loving mind, he says, this is just an excerpt, I think we say. Excerpt. So it goes like this. Just as a mother with her own life protects her child, her only child, from hurt, so within yourself let grow a boundless love for all creatures. this holding everything is really very sacred. We need to hold everything. Like perhaps we would hold a newborn baby with much care, much respect, very tender. And also with wonder. So we have a little time left for sharing, if you feel like sharing in the chat or asking questions or even coming on live. Yesterday, I didn't answer. There were two questions that I didn't answer that George sent me, and I thought that maybe I could answer them first thing now. So the first question was from Jonathan, and his question was, how about silence, and how can this heal relational trauma and inner storms? So Jonathan, if you're here, yesterday you wrote that you were okay to come on camera. And so if you're here, or if you still want to come on board, you can do that right now. And if not, I will answer this anyway, and maybe we'll put it on Sangha Connect. George can do that, I think. Don't know exactly how that works. Anyway. Yeah. So how can silence heal relational trauma? Silence can be very useful, very soothing. If you don't confuse silence and isolation, if you don't confuse silence with loneliness, silence should not be a shut down. So with trauma, we have to be very gentle. I think I would start, perhaps, if silence is scary. You didn't say it was scary, but sometimes silence can be scary. When trauma's here. So then I think I would start with the practice we did today. Or we can also change silence with peace. Peace and silence are almost synonyms. There was another question from Lucy. So for the the people that weren't here yesterday, we meditated with silence, just so that you understand where this is coming from. So Lucy said, I had the windows open and the sound of the city was unbroken by silence. Eventually, I started to feel silence inside me, but then there felt like an inside-outside division, which felt artificial. Can you say more about meditation by the motorway? Yeah, because I talked about that. One of my teachers said that we should be able to meditate even when there is a lot of noise, like a motorway. So, well, the first thing I'd like to say is that I wouldn't personally choose to meditate near a motorway. So if I can choose, I'd probably close the windows. And if I can't choose, well, first thing, investigate, inquire into the sound with curiosity. Notice the variations in sounds. It can even sound like music. I know that not because I live by a motorway, but because I live by an airport. And during the pandemic, it was blissful. The silence was just wonderful. But then it started again. And so, listening to the planes like music, hearing, hearing, hearing. Open up to that too. So those were the questions that I didn't answer yesterday. Today, I see a question from Yasmin saying, thank you for the heart guidance, Christine. Could you say again which sutta you read an excerpt from please. Yes, the Karaniya Metta Sutta. Oops, I'm losing my ears here. Karaniya Metta Sutta, it's called. What else? So, Adina says something interesting. I live close to a busy road and found that with inclusive awareness, I even got an energy rush of motor sound. Okay. I don't quite understand if this energy rush was something that was pleasant or not. So, is there anything else? Question. So I can't quite read this person's name. So hello. The question is, it's relatively easy, lovely, okay to love a baby, even a crying one, but loving oneself when we have expressed and continue to express unpleasant comments, criticisms, is hard. The wish not to do these things is so strong, but the difficulty too is so hard. And then I can't love myself. I now have to leave, but can leave it for a reflection and comment tomorrow. Bless you all. Yes, yes, yes. We can talk about it tomorrow. And actually, I was sort of thinking that it would be tomorrow's topic to work on thoughts, pleasant and unpleasant thoughts, useful and unuseful thoughts. So yes, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Oh, yes, it was a positive energy rush, says Adina. Okay, good. So, if anything else is good to share, it's now. We still have a few minutes. Or if there's another question, I'm happy to answer it. And if not, let's just appreciate these last minutes. Okay, Andrew's question. I get confused with different practices. How can I make a choice? Okay, what I do is I choose according to what speaks to me, according to what resonates most. It's not a head choice. It's a felt sense choice or a heartfelt sense choice. Trust that. That's my suggestion. Okay, if they all speak to you, anyone will be great. all these different aspects of all these practices are actually one practice. They're just different. They focus on different aspects, but it's all about the same thing, really. When we get used to these practices, they sort of unite, mingle. One aspect that's needed in that moment comes up, and maybe in another moment, another aspect will come up. Okay. So thank you all for the goodness of your meditation, as Martin Aylward says. Yeah, I'm reading you, George. Found it quite difficult today. Being gentle on oneself, going through grief, brings a lot of inner judgment, despite the practice, despite the self-compassionate approach. Yeah. Wow, sometimes that happens. I would suggest to feel into the judgment, feel into how it hurts. It maybe won't make it go away, but somehow maybe something will melt or not. With every difficult emotion, this is my experience, we have to find a new way. It's the same, actually. We have to learn how to hold it. But according which emotion is here, it feels like, we have to start all over again. So, friends, thank you for the goodness of your practice. Hope to see you tomorrow.